Hi everybody, it's Dr. Magnifico from Jared'sFullVet and Pobly.com. It is Sunday with Seraphina. It is, I think, the 16th of August, somewhere around there, somewhere mid-August. Things are slowing down and quieting down. At least the heat and humidity has dissipated a little bit. And it's a little bit quieter. I don't know why things seem to be so busy midsummer, even in the middle of a pandemic, but it seems to be kind of dissipating a little bit. So we'll kind of cross our fingers. There'll be some sort of quiet normalcy that descends upon us and kind of places us back into some sanity and allows us to kind of just be still and be kind and be a little bit more compassionate. It's been an incredibly difficult year across a lot of levels, and I'm sure it's probably the same for all of you guys too. I wanted to talk about a couple things today. I'm going to hit on some topics later in the week. I'm going to talk about collars. I'm seeing a lot of people come in with these ridiculously loose collars, and it means that we're really worried about animals slipping out of them in the parking lot. So you will usually see us with a big heavy lead when we come out to get you. So that's really because these collars are just being really loose. If you have questions about collars, talk to us. But in general, it should be a nice, thick, heavy-duty collar, ideally with an ID tag, ideally with a tag that says, pet name, I am microchipped, and then a phone number or an address. And then only big enough so that you can fit one finger underneath it. It needs to be tight enough that it can't go over the head. For some of these brachycephalic breeds or the dogs with the really thick necks, that can be an even bigger problem. And the same thing for the dogs with the really long, lean necks and the really long, lean heads. But just tight enough that you can fit a finger underneath it, a finger or two. Not big enough that it can slide off of the head. So that's one of the things I want to talk about later. The other thing is veterinary examinations. When we're doing an exam on your pet, if there's an abnormality, it means we need to pay attention. I'm just seeing a lot of people who have sort of become immune to abnormalities. So immune to the fact that their dog has a lump or a bump and we don't really know what it is. Immune to the fact that they've got dental disease and it's been there for so long that now we don't really choose to do anything about it. And especially the heart disease and the heart murmurs. If your dog has a heart murmur, it means there's a problem. Something is not working correctly in that heart. And it should always elicit the response of, it's time to go see a cardiologist. I just have a lot of people who say, oh, it's always been there, and therefore I'm just going to wait and watch and monitor. Well, are we waiting and watching and monitoring until it becomes a really big problem that we can't turn around? I think there needs to be a longer conversation that we're having. The other thing that I want to talk about is sort of treatment resolution. We are exceptionally good here at offering lots and lots of options. And then we offer options. Here's what I would like to do. Here's what I think is most beneficial. And then we're really good about extending that conversation into here's how much this costs and here's what your options are. Lots of people have cost concerns. We're still in the middle of a pandemic and lots of people don't have jobs. And we are finding more and more people who are reluctant to begin the conversation about cost. I think it's something we really have to get over. If you have a cost concern, please tell us, and please tell us up front, and we will start talking from there. Instead of going all the way down the path of here's what we're gonna do, and then finding out that people are just calling and electing euthanasia because they don't think that there's another option, and there's always another option. Just don't be afraid to open a conversation and be upfront and honest from the beginning. Last week was a really, really crazy week. We did a foreign body on a cat. I had a lot of pancreatitis cases. I sent a lot of cases out to be reviewed, radiology review. I had a lot of animals who were here on IV fluids all day, every day. The next thing to talk about is overnight care. If your veterinarian is keeping your pet overnight and there is not someone there, there is a problem. There's a conversation that needs to be had. I had a conversation with somebody the other day who was dropping off for a surgery, and she was so excited that her pet was coming home at night. And I said, of course we're gonna send home at night. There's nobody here overnight. And the only reason, in my opinion, the only reason or the predominant reason that veterinarians are keeping pets overnight when there's not somebody here is they don't want to get a call in the middle of the night from you saying that there's a problem or you're concerned. They would rather be able to sleep at night knowing your pet is somewhere where no one can see them or oversee them or complain about them than having them taken care of. So really overwhelmingly, every animal here who is here for hospitalization or fluids goes home at night. There are a couple of exceptions. We have a couple people who are having health issues themselves or have transportation issues, so we keep them. But I do not want to keep a critical pet overnight ever. Those animals post-op, I would rather have them transfer to the ER or go home with you where you can watch them. And if there's a problem, I'm going to tell you to go to the ER. You know, the worst thing that can happen, in my opinion, the absolute worst thing is that a technician comes in at 7:15 in the morning and there's an animal who's either no longer with us or is agonal and dying. And how long has that animal been like that? And how do I have a conversation with that owner? So if you have a veterinarian who's keeping your pets overnight, there should be someone there. I will say there better be someone there, or they should be offering you the option to transfer the ER where someone can watch them overnight, or they go home with you with a backup plan just in case anything happens. So a couple things that I'm going to talk about kind of through the week and hopefully blog on. But these are the things that have come up this week, so I'm going to talk to you guys about them. If you have any questions about any of these things, if you have any concerns, if you have any stories to share, we'd really love to get some stories on Pabli.com. So tell me what your experience has been and how much you spent, and it's a way to kind of educate others. Or if you have any comments about the things that I've talked about here, you can find me on this feed, or you can go to Pabli.com and ask a question for free anytime. But I think kind of in summary, it's good to have an open, honest discussion from the beginning. It's good to understand best case, worst case, most expensive case, cheapest case scenario, and then go from there. Don't decide to put your pet down because you think you can't afford it. At this clinic, that is not anything that's going to happen. We will figure out a way to help you pay for something that your pet needs. And then for the rest of you, I really hope that you're finding some calm at the end of the summer, and that the COVID-19 stuff is starting to dissipate for you too. Take care, everybody. Be safe, be kind, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Good job. You did a very good job, Seraphina.